course. But anyway, so like I was saying, this movie did a lot, man. This movie did a lot because horror movies have been missing a lot. For me, the last horror movie I think I actually enjoyed. I loved. I had to watch it, and I ended up watching it. I watched it 5 times in a row. Not this. No, not The Conjuring. Although I have seen The Conjuring 1 and 2 quite a bit. And by quite a bit, I want to say probably like 3 or 4 times each. They're just really good movies. They're just straight up really good movies. At the end of the day, my favorite horror movie that had me locked for a while was Drag Me to Hell. It was a little over-exaggerated, and it didn't take itself too seriously. And I thought that was so cool because I've been so used to horror movies just trying to take themselves so seriously, and it would lead to like weak jump scares and weak kills and things like that, just things that would get people out of the way. And I'm not paying $8, $10, $9, $13 fucking adult tickets to just not be entertained. That shit is weak. Like, it's been a while since I was able to actually be scared in a movie theater. And for this movie to come out on HBO Max as well, I mean, I love movie theaters, don't get me wrong, but I watched this movie in the daytime. I mean, I had the curtains closed, but it's not so much you can do. It's peak daytime. And I was still slack-jawed watching looking at the screen, just, oh no, like, what's happening? You know, things were quick, and when they weren't quick, the movie, I want to say, is 95% suspense. They do a really good job of holding it down on the suspense level, especially because, again, a lot of horror movies don't know what they want to be. And lately, a lot of horror movies have been trying to find their own path, try to find a new genre of horror. And nothing's wrong with that. Horror has a long history. But let's just say this. I say this movie does a lot in the sense of they do something along the lines of they give us the feeling of it's action. It's a horror movie, but it has a lot of action. And you're just like, you don't know exactly how to feel about it, but it doesn't give you so much action to where it feels like it's cheesy or anything like that, or it feels like it's an action movie, or it feels like, the franchise switched lanes. It does not give you that. It absolutely gives you, how can I explain this? It gives you horror. It still gives you horror no matter what the action actually is. So let's say they're fighting. Let's say they're running through the woods. Let's say anything's happening. It still keeps a high aspect of horror. So much so that it reminds me of like horror animes, but it doesn't have a sense of humor to it, or at least it's not supposed to. And that's the part that made this movie better than it was. This movie read to me a lot like Drag Me to Hell. Like, if you've seen Drag Me to Hell, there's a moment in the movie where there's an exorcism, and the guy gets up from the table and starts floating and starts dancing in midair. And he's just like, yeah, I'm getting it. Hey. And he's laughing at them. He's being possessed by a demon. But all the same, it's just, that's funny. That's funny. And a lot of funny things happen in that movie, but like I said, they didn't take themselves too seriously. And another movie that didn't take itself too seriously is the Evil Dead series. Oh man, even all the way to the show Ash versus the Evil Dead. Hey, how you doing, what's that, Coconessa? Oh, Sionessa. Look, I got terrible vision, screen super far away, but what's up? Welcome to the live. So back to the review. Like, this movie gave me a lot of feelings like, Ash versus the Evil Dead, the whole Evil Dead series, the Book of the Dead, Book of the Damned, whatever the fuck it was called. And of course, Drag Me to Hell. Yeah, this movie, a Conjuring film. Now, I know if you've seen the first movie or if you've seen the second movie, then you're probably like, there were moments. No, I think in the first movie, a girl got dragged across the living room or slung across the living room by her ponytail. A little white girl. Honestly, it was more a commercial for Pantene than it was for how strong that ghost was, because that ponytail could have snapped. It could have. It should have. And honestly, if it was somebody else, it probably would have. But that moment, it made me stand up. I watched that one for the first time in my living room as well. But we're gonna get into the bullet points, but first I want to get into just how long this series has been running. And the reason being is because I've seen all of the movies in the Conjuring universe, but I don't know which one would be my favorite, but I gotta say, let's just talk about it. So The Conjuring 1 came out in 2013. After that, The Conjuring 2, erase that. Conjuring 1 in 2013, Annabelle 2014, The Conjuring 2 2016, Annabelle Creation 2017, The Nun in 2018, The Curse of La Llorona 2019, Annabelle Comes Home also in 2019. The motherfuckers on the road. They made their money in 2019, okay? And of course, just this week, we got The Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So we've already talked about the child. We talked about the beginning, and that was my little boy, Babyglasses, okay? Babyglasses held it down as long as he could. And actually, shout out to the kid that plays Babyglasses. I know that's not his name. It's just a kid in there. He's got big ass glasses. He looks like the white kid from Christmas Story. It's cool though. You know what I'm saying? He works it out. You know, he wears the look well. Like they styled him perfectly. Good job, little white boy. And I don't be doing that often. You know what I'm saying? Compliments don't come cheap. But all right. I say shout out to the actor because it is a child, but you know how sometimes let's say back in the day I say back in the day, and I'm about to say something that still seems fairly recent, so please bear with the age. Back in the day, when things weren't always on just the computer or your phone or the tablet or just the internet in general, when we had to do shit like buy DVDs. Yeah, I said DVDs. I didn't even take it back to VHS. What's that? Oh, don't turn. It's VHS. It's okay. It's like DVD. You know what? DVDs. So DVDs, they used to have special features, and with the special features for a lot of these exorcism movies, like I think I had, I forgot which one it was called. It was called The Exorcism of somebody, but it wasn't Emily Rose. It wasn't Emily Rose, I promise. Wait, it was Emily Rose. Yeah, okay, never mind. On the DVD, they had you saying the Lord's Prayer before the front menu would even come up, and I was doing it every time. And I watched that movie a couple of times. So that was a little bit about me. But and the special features, like, you know how the possessed people, you know, contort and shit like that. The girl volunteered because she said she could make those things happen. She would, you know, and they showed the behind the scenes, and the girl is contorting her body all back and forth. And it's crazy. I'm just like, and she's really doing that on screen and off screen. It's not special effects. So with this movie in particular, with Babyglasses, back to Babyglasses, it had to be special effects, because I don't think nobody would have put their child through that unless that kid is in the circus already. Unless that kid, honestly, if he's an acrobat of some type, if he's probably going to be on America's Got Talent or was on America's Got Talent at some point. Or anything's got talent. They got so many different talent shows nowadays. Yeah, I could see that not being special effects. But if that's not the case, man, that motherfucker. Okay. Anyway, so moving on from that, they end up having to exercise them. Again, this is light spoilers. This is all what I'm talking about right now. Right now is like literally first 5 minutes of the movie. So they got to exercise this demon out of this child. They just can't though. It ain't going right. Things ain't going right. And so something from that moment leads to our main antagonist conduit, if you will. Like I said, Ed and Lorraine Lauren. Let's talk about them. I'm gonna say Warren. Let's talk about them. They've been around for a long time. Like I said, I just named 7 movies. But every last one of those movies has the moniker of based on a true story. And my thing with that is how and what. Well, I know that they got to take some liberties because the people who are making these movies weren't there. But damn, you know, it's like, how many liberties can you take? How many liberties is too many liberties? See, this is what's wrong with the library. You hear that? Anyway, no. Back to what I was saying. It's just like they took a lot of liberties, but at the same time, you can't. If they did it without taking liberties, it would be the most boring story in the world. But every movie coincides with a case, of there, so you can Google all these cases and things like that. And they do have photos and real accounts, just like you see them pulling out the camera in the film every time they're about to do something like that. They have those videos and they have those accounts. Sorry, I bumped the mic. But man, yeesh. So thinking about that is like, ooh. And when you see some of those videos, it does kind of creep you out. So I say if you don't like exorcism films, stay away from that for sure. Their love though, man, their love is fucking goals. Okay, I don't care what anybody says. Their love is goals. This movie in particular felt like a love story for them. I don't want to talk about it. Like I said, it's light spoilers. I don't want to get too deep, but we'll probably be back next week or within 2 weeks, and we'll talk about it all the way through. We'll just give a full-on review. I might even have more people on with me. So yeah. So beyond that, there's this guy named Arnie. I'm only going to tell you the name. Arnie ends up in a situation where you've already seen this in the trailer. If you know anything about the movie, you've seen the trailer. Arnie is the main antagonist's conduit. He's the one who ends up in jail. Hey, I think I hurt somebody. The way that the movie does a really good job building suspense and giving you scares and feeding you the horror like with a spoon and sometimes with a dropper. It's because they do a really, really good job of playing with your mind, using perception against you as the viewer. So a lot of scenes go by as you'll see what's going on in one character's perspective, and then immediately you'll see what's going on in some altered reality or whatever's being projected to them. And then after these two interchange once or twice, boom, we're actually in what's really going on, And a lot of different things do that, had that double layer, like this movie gives a lot of Inception feels. It gives the WandaVision feel. It gives the Truman Show feel. It just that we're in a simulation. I have to say it both ways because just to let you know that I can, people gonna fuck me up. They're like, oh, why is his hair like that? Shut up. But this movie gives a lot of really outward feels. It seems like they got really creative during the pandemic. And speaking of pandemic, they also had a different amount of usage on the green screen. And this movie was soundstage heavy. Boy, oh boy. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say about how some of the moments with the soundstage, like you knew they weren't outside. You could see it was the lighting, it was the way that things were. It just didn't feel right all the way through. But it didn't take my immersion away. Like I guess I still had those moments where I had my jaw drop. I was holding my breath sometimes, or I was breathing heavy sometimes, like I was running away. This movie does a really good job of keeping your attention, even during the quiet parts, even during the interviews, even during the court case, even though that seemed to be that was really misleading trailer, by the way, about the court case. They tried to make it seem like the movie would be centered around a court case, and I don't know if they thought that court cases were popular now, but nobody want to go to fucking court. And I damn sure don't want to go to a movie theater and sit in court with the motherfucking main character. I can't do it. I don't want to go to court about traffic tickets. And anyway, I didn't even go see Just Mercy. I still haven't seen it in the house. I'd love to. Michael B. Jordan is an incredible actor, as well as Jamie Foxx. Man, Michael B. Jordan, date more black women. And hey, no, great. Good job on Lori Harvey. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about that. Back to the movie. I'm not really going to talk too much about Arnie. Just know that motherfucker's ugly, okay? No offense to the actor. You did a great job. And again, if that contortion scene later on, and yeah, I said contortion scene. I told you what he was. He's the conduit. I can say that. Light spoiler, damn it. If that contortion scene, if that's not special effects on you, man, you need a raise. They need to give you more on the royalties. They need to slice somebody else's check. Man, the people who play Ed and Lorraine Warren, by the way, I think at this point they believe they're Ed and Lorraine Warren. I think they really believe in their everyday life, because there were scenes where, man, the guy who plays Ed, he's the king of like and it's all over the place. But at the same time, There was a moment where a line was uttered, and you look at him, and his eye twitches, but not in the eyelid sense. You can see it in his nerves. It got to him. He was invested. He really thought he was Ed Warren. So this movie had some really, 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 really great acting. Let's talk about the legal system. Because if Arnie was black, I do not think that they would have ever continued a case or allowed extra time to be given for a case. Using the defense of demonic possession. If your cousin Ray Ray, not even Ray Ray, if your cousin Brandon, if your cousin Jeremy, if your cousin Raekwon, Julius, Georgette, Josephine, any of them, Geraldine, if your cousin went to court about a murder, or maybe a couple of them, no, just murders. They already don't have you in the orange suit when you're in court because your defense is demonic possession. I couldn't even get it out. You would look at them square in the eye and say, you gotta be fucking the judge, because you gotta be. There's no, you know what? Yeah, no, what? Moving on. Let's get back into these points, man. Up next, absolutely, let's talk about the third priest, which is, like I said, third priest as in not Ed and Lorraine. And let's talk about the interns, the famous interns. We know the interns if you've seen any of the other Conjuring movies. I'm talking about the Asian guy, and there's kind of sort of sometimes a white girl, and there's kind of sort of sometimes it's like he's kind of like a tall, dopey white guy. He kind of gives me Chris Pratt from Parks and Recreation. Love that show, by the way. Also, man, there were moments where every time they used the third priest, they basically used him to highlight what could happen, what could go wrong if your faith during a procedure like this starts to wane. And man, oh man, he almost got it bad. Now, I'm not going to say what happens or what goes on, but let's just say he was close to the bullets. Let's go. Same thing with the intern. Intern, not so much. He wasn't in danger in this movie. Now, I want to say, which one was it? Definitely The Exorcist. I mean, The Conjuring 1 and 2, the interns were heavy. Big fat heavy. And I want to say they were heavy in The Nun, as well as, I'm not going to say any of the Annabelle movies. There might have been something else. I didn't see La Llorona. I'm actually probably going to watch that today. No review on that one, though. Sorry, don't care. And one has subtitles as far as I know. And I do watch anime, so, we'll probably do some anime reviews later on. But, nah, I'm not here to do the subtitles on real life stuff unless it's actually a foreign film. This has a foreign name, and not foreign name, it's just in Spanish. It's in Spanglish, actually. So, anyway, back on target. I got ADHD, guys. I'm sorry. Bear with me. Yada yada about that system. All I needed to really say about the intern is, man, he's consistent. He's in all the films, and how convenient can it be that when someone finally calls out to need your car keys, you drive a Mustang or you drive a SS convertible with racing tires and rims. How convenient. That was Fast and Furious levels of convenient. Oh, I got just what you need, Playboy. And you pull off a little fucking, yeah, you get it. Yeah, just the corny level was high. But let's not get into that. There's a witch. Yeah, I know. Out of all things it could have been, there is a witch. Now, how is that not a spoiler? Because you see throughout the whole Conjuring series that that every movie focuses around one thing or a couple of things. So me telling you it's a witch doesn't say that, hey, it could be anything. I really just wanted to include in here that, hey, there's a river witch. There is a river witch in this film. They are not getting wish magic. They are getting witch magic, okay? And it's not great. No one's enjoying this. This witch is no pushover. I've seen better. No. I take that back. I have not seen better witches in movies in a long time. Because movies try to make you unafraid of witches. Movies kind of make it seem like witches are your friend, No, witches are my fucking friend, okay? I grew up afraid of witches because I grew up with Hocus Pocus. Disney Channel was gonna make you afraid of witches unless you really love Halloween Town. Let's not talk about that. I'm really showing my age. But basically, it wasn't the normal demon possession, although it still has all of the elements of the original movies and the movies that came before it. Honestly, all the movies that came before it have one particular thread. But we're not here to get deep, are we? No, it's not. Anyway, the final conflict, I'm going to touch on that lightly. Basically, it was a power battle. It was a mental power battle. It felt like two telepaths going at it in a mental space. It was actually really cool. I liked the way they handled it. The cinematography was great. The green screening didn't affect me here at all because, of course, this is where it was expected. What the fuck is that noise? Yeah. All right. Anyway, no, they're just playing with me. But anyway, all jokes aside, the final conflict was good. I will say, Ed had a problem throughout the entire movie, and it will become very apparent after the beginning, after the title card. This movie was wild as fuck before the title card. Straight up and down. Just wild as fuck. This movie had no breaks. And when the breaks did finally not even get touched, when it wasn't driving pedal to the floor, this movie it was just cruising. It was just cruising on scary. It was cruising on suspense. It was cruising on the next moment. And you knew that next moment was coming. If it wasn't the sound direction, it was the music direction. If it wasn't the music direction, it was the scene direction. If it wasn't that, it definitely wasn't the fucking green screening. But you guys did your job, and I appreciate that. And honestly, the movie still came out wonderful. It doesn't affect a lot of people, and people who don't really look for those things, it won't stand out to them at all. This is just my gripe. Like I said, the movie is incredible to me. It's actually one of the best horror movies I've seen in a long time. Like I said, it stands up there with me for one of my new favorite horror movies because it actually made me afraid. The Evil Dead remake, actually. Think about the Evil Dead remake, the one with the girl and the chainsaw. Yeah, the chainsaw is kind of a trademark thing, but they took a different spin on it and they made Ashley instead of, the funny guy, the slapstick humor of the original Evil Dead series. So this one gives me feelings of the gore, or not really gore. Just gives me the feeling of kind of sort of what you got in the Evil Dead remake, and it gives you the slapstick feeling when all the things are happening to different people of the original Evil Dead, and like I said, Drag Me to Hell. So this one is up there now as one of my new favorites. I'm not gonna lie to you, and it's not a hard feat for horror movies, but that's because horror movies have been missing a lot. Horror movies have been missing since horror movies have been horror movies. I think the last, because it just takes themselves too seriously. If you do take yourself too seriously as a horror movie, I have to judge it seriously. Is it a movie? Is it coherent? Can people understand it? Was the plot good? Or how was the acting? The acting is always going to be number one for me. Lick your lips, you ashy? Okay, thank you. But yeah, like I said, Ed gets a problem at the very beginning of the movie that basically does an anime trope. And an anime trope in this sense is a lot of different animes tend to take out the solution character before the problem starts. So you'll be in a situation where it's like, okay, if this person attacked, this person is definitely the one that's going to be able to defeat them, no problem. End of episode. No saga, no nothing. This person's on vacation on the other side of the world all of a sudden, and we're back to fighting him with everybody who just would not match. It's going to be the one unless they come through miraculously and through the jumping method. Yeah, I'm talking about Black Clover and a lot of other different animes. Like a lot of times they get rid of the character that would be the solution in order to move the story and move the plot along. So Ed's problem throughout this film definitely lends to that, and it comes all the way to the final conflict. Just keep an eye out for that, and beyond that, it's a great movie. Just straight up great movie. What do I give it out of 10? What do I give The Conjuring 3? The Devil Made Me Do It. Out of 10, I will give it somewhere between an 8.5 and maybe, just maybe, honestly, I would say a 9 and a 9.5. This was, like I said, again, it's a new favorite for me now, and it's pretty high up there for horror movies, man. How can I say? It was good. It was good. So, as far as this review goes, that does it for tonight. If you see me later on tonight on Twitch, follow me on Twitch. That is B Sully. Sorry, that's me everywhere else. I'm sorry, radio personality, 12 years. Let me introduce myself since this is the first time we're actually just chatting. My name is blankety blank. People call me Sully. I've been a radio personality for 12 years. Now I do things like this. Hey, I'm looking for support. I'm looking for you guys to latch on. Let's have some good times, because I love actually having discussions more than anything, man. To get paid to talk is just always just been great. Like, radio is just, it used to not be so easy to get into, and honestly it might still not be so easy to get into. I stumbled upon it through the normal means. I was an intern for a while, and then I wasn't. Like I said, it's been 12 years. It's been a long time. I didn't stay an intern. I think I was an intern for like 3 months before I actually started working. So, like, working, making money, money. Why do a lot of people got to say shit twice? But yeah, like I said, that wraps it up for the review. But back to this, just I just want to get things right. I love, everything movie. So if you guys got anything to say, leave in the comments or leave in the chat. Put something in the chat for next movie you want reviewed, talked about. If it's an older movie, then we'll just talk about it. It's just straight up and down. We'll just, hey, how do I feel about it? Let's go. I got opinions, man. Hard ones sometimes. And same thing with games. I do a lot of streaming up here as well, or at least I will be in the future. So if you haven't already followed, do follow. And turn up, man. We're gonna have some good times. Like I said, as far as my review, I give the movie a 9.5 out of 10. It's actually a really, really good film. I've been Sully, and you've been yourself. And honestly, I'm trying to do everything I can to not burn myself on these candles. So you guys have a great night, and until next time, I will be here. And if you, like I said, that's it. It's my ADHD, guys. Follow me. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Twitch. Follow me on everything. I'm gonna have my socials in my waiting screen. If you missed the waiting screen, go back in the archive. It's at the beginning, because hey, it is what it is. Actually, I'm gonna stop being lazy. This is for you. That's my Insta. From there, you'll get my other socials. So turn up. But beyond that, yeah, it's been a good night. Good night and good night. I might be back tonight later on to stream on Twitch. We might play some more Knockout City. We might play something else. We might get in with some more Tekken. We gave you some Star Wars Squadrons last night. And, of course, I got some more for you. So, again, you can hit up the comments. You can hit up the chat. And, of course, let me know what you want to play. I play with players. I play with followers. I play with anybody that wants to play. Come on. Hey, I don't know what it is about this beat. All right. That does it for me tonight, you guys. You have a good night. Be blessed.